Mark chapter 5. And they came into the territory beyond the sea, into the region of the Gerasenes. He, having come out of the ship, straightway he encountered him a human on the underway out of the sepulchres, in an unclean spirit, who had down dwelling in the place of sepulchres, but also not any more, yea, not one was able to bind him with chains, because of many times he had been bound with foot fetters and chains. And the chains having been tugged through by him at the foot fetters were battered together to pieces, and not one was strong enough against him. And constantly, night and day, he was in the place of sepulchres, and in the mountains crying, and all regardingly hitting himself with stones. And having perceived Jesus from afar, he ran and prayingly crawled to him. And crying with a great voice, he says, "What is between me and you, Jesus, you Son of God the Most High? I adjure you by God, may you not torment me." And he said to him, "Come out from the human, you unclean spirit." And he asked on him, "What name is it to you?" And he said to him, "The name Legion is to me, since we are many." And he beside called him with much wording, lest he dispatch him outside of the region. But there toward the mountain was a great let about herd of swine taking herbage. And the spirits beside called him, saying, "Send us into the swine, so that we may come into them." And he conceded it to them. And the unclean spirits, as having come out, came into the swine, and the let about herd hastened down the slope into the sea, about 2,000, and they suffocated. And those giving them herbage fled, and announced it into the city and the field places. And those there came out to perceive what is that having been become. And they came to Jesus, and behold, one of the ones being demonized, having seat, yea, having been clothed with raiment, and being reasonable, the one having had the legion, and they were made to fear. And those having perceived all this told them how all this was the one being demonized, and that concerning the swine came to be. And they, Origen, began to beside call him to come away from their borders. And while he was stepping into the ship, the one having once been demonized beside called him, so that he might be with him. And he did not let him come along, but for this cause said to him, "Go away into your dwelling site, to those who are yours, and announce to them as much as the Lord had done to you, and how he had mercy on you." And going away from there, he came, and Origen began to herald in Decapolis as much as Jesus had done for him. And all marveled. And while Jesus was coming through to the beyond, with the ship into the shore beyond, again a many numerous throng was led together to him, and he was beside the sea. And one of the archpersons of the synagogue community, by the name Jairus, comes, and having perceived him, he falls at his feet, and beside calls him with much wording, saying, "My little daughter has her last hour. Surely, that as one having come, you set the hands on her, so that she may be saved and live." And going away he came with him, and there followed him a many numerous throng, and they crowd him together. And a woman being in a flow of blood for 12 years, and having suffered many things from many healers, and expending all the goods from beside herself, and yet not having benefit in one thing, but much more having come to the worse, as one hearing the things concerning Jesus, she came in the throng from behind and touched his raiment. For she said in herself, "So if I touch even only his raiment, I will be saved." And straightway the spring of her blood was dried up, and she knew in the body that she was healed from the scourge. And straightway Jesus, having unknown in himself the ability powers having come out of him, and as one having been turned on in the throng, he said, "Who touched my raiments?" And his learning one said to him, "You see the throng crowding you together, and you say, 'Who touched me?'" And he looked round about to perceive the one having done this. But the woman, trembling and being made to fear, and having perceived what had become to her, came and fell toward him, and said to him all the truth. But he said to her, "Daughter, your faithing has saved you. Go away into peace, and be healed from your scourge." Still during his speaking, they come from the archperson of the synagogue community, saying, "Your daughter deadened away. What do you still pester the teacher?" But Jesus, hearing beside the word being spoken, says to the arch person of the synagogue community, Fear not, only faith. And not did he let anyone, yea, not one, as going together with him, follow except Peter and James and John, the brother of James. And they come into the dwelling site of the arch person of the synagogue community. And he beholds the tumult, and many sobbing ones and squealing ones. And having come in, he says to them, What are you tumultuated, and why do you sob? The little maid did not deaden away, but she down rests. And they down laughed at him. But he, having driven them all out, he beside takes the father of the little maid, and the mother, and those who are with him, and goes in where the little maid was. And holding the little maid by the hand, he says to her, Talitha cum, which being post-translated is, Girl, I say to you, raise yourself up. And straightway the girl rose and walked, for she was about 12 years, and straightway they were shocked with great shock. And with much wording he charged them that not one should know this. And he said that something should be given her to eat.